Hi there. We're in Chapter 3 of Christianity and the Social Crisis by Walter Rauschenbusch. This chapter is called Social Impetus of Primitive Christianity, and this subhead, The Limitations of Our Information. It is necessary to remind ourselves that our information for the purposes of such an inquiry is meager and incomplete. The early Christians did not belong to the literary class with whom the impulse to record its doings on paper is more or less instinctive. They had no motive for making elaborate historical records of their life. They expected the speedy end of the world and never dreamed of a posterity that would cherish every scrap of information about them. Even the sayings of the Master were not recorded till years had gone by. Whatever was written was to serve some immediate and passing occasion. And in writings of that sort, the most important facts, which really make up the bulk of the common life, are often not even mentioned, because they are so well understood by all parties concerned that they go without saying. We have no document whatever which sets out to furnish a coherent account of the moral or social life of the early Christian communities. Moreover, if there were any radical political or social ideas current in early Christianity, there was good cause for not writing them down or publishing them freely. The Roman government was tolerant and almost indifferent on questions of religious belief and worship, but suspicious and alert against anything that smelled like smoldering revolutionary fire. Even social clubs and benevolent associations were under sharp surveillance lest they mask political designs. There is one relic of primitive Christianity which embodies revolutionary hopes and passions, and it is significant that it purposely veils its meaning. The contemporary political powers are described under the image of beasts. The capital city is called by the mystic name of Babylon. The key word of its allegories is hidden in the number 666, in which the letters of the word are translated into their numerical equivalents. Political thought and utterance are so absolutely free in England and America that we can scarcely conceive along what subterranean channels political and social ideas have to move under more despotic conditions. How unsigned letters and poems pass from hand to hand. How a whisper, an innocent name, or a sprig of flowers will convey a world of meaning. But what is meant to evade contemporary scrutiny is likely also to escape the knowledge of later times and to perish without trace. We make much of those passages of the New Testament which prove the political loyalty of the early Christians to the Roman Empire. But possibly one purpose in Luke's mind, when he wrote the book of Acts for the use of Theophilus, was to present an apologetic of Christianity to the upper classes. And when Paul exhorted the Romans to obey the government, he may have had in mind the possibility that in the capital of the world his letter might drop into influential hands. If there was even a shade of such a side motive in these writings, we must allow for it in constructing our conception of the political attitude of primitive Christianity. The suggestion just made is somewhat conjectural. The following is quite certain. No books of the first century have reached us unless later times had interest enough in them to copy them. The survival of a book depended not on the interest it awakened in the first century, nor on the interest it would awaken today, but on the interest which the 3rd or 4th century took in it. If it was written by some man whom that subsequent age revered as a Christian authority, or if it lent welcome support to doctrines or institutions then struggling for the mastery, it was copied and quoted and had a chance of coming into our hands. If not, the material on which earliest copies were written was sure to perish in some one of 100 ways, and the book itself disappeared from human sight forever. There were books which were widely read and loved in the church of the 2nd century, but which fell into disrepute and oblivion, because they did not suit the tastes and standards of the age schooled by the great doctrinal controversies. It is wholly likely that the same fate would befall any popular literature in which the social feelings and hopes of the earliest generations were embodied. They too became antiquated and uncongenial to the churchmen of the later age, especially after the church had emerged from its oppressed condition and was fostered and fed by the empire. Well, next time Rauschenbusch goes into the Jewish nature of the early church. Now, I wanted to link to a video we've done on John chapter 14 through 17. The rise of Catholic Christianity. Did Christ predict an early apostasy, a general apostasy, or did he in fact say that the work of the apostles would endure? So I'll put that link up for you.